Hello, my amazing art friends. For this lesson, we're going to be creating our very own paper weaving. So to start on our paper weaving, first we have to talk about the three parts of a weaving. The first part is the loom. The loom is what holds the entire weaving together. Without the loom, everything would fall apart. The next part is the warp. The warp are the vertical strands that you weave over and under. And then the third part is the weft. The weft is what you use to weave. So in a rug, that would be yarn or thread, but for our case, we're gonna be using paper to weave. So I have an example here of our loom. So I have a large purple piece of paper so you guys can see the top and the bottom are not cut all the way through, and that's what's holding our whole paper together even though it's cut. So this is our loom. Then we have these cut strands, which are what we're going to be weaving over and under, and so those are the warp. And so we're going to weave over and under. So we'll use our weft. I'll show you with my hand first. We can go over then under and create a pattern, and it's gonna end up making like a checkerboard. So here I have a dark purple piece of paper, and so this represents our weft. It's because what we are using to weave. So we're gonna start over, then under, over, under, and create our pattern. So when it goes all the way through, it starts to make our checkerboard. And so today we're just gonna focus on making our loom and our warp, and next time we'll start our weaving. So let's get started. Okay friends, to create our loom, you're gonna need a plain sheet of paper. You can use a plain white sheet, or here I have a colored sheet of paper to create our loom and our warp strands. So to start, we're gonna fold our paper in half horizontally, making sure to match up the edges as best we can. All right, and so now I'm going to take the open side of my paper and I'm gonna fold it over just a little bit. Make sure it's the open side, it's very important. And so I'm gonna fold it over. And so it kind of looks like an envelope right now. And so now that I have that folded over, I can write my name. And I'm gonna open it back up. So you can see there's a little crease here, but it's hard to see at this moment. So go ahead and trace that line. And so this line is our stopping point. We cannot go past this line. So to remind yourself, you can put X's to know that we will not stop this point. Our scissors cannot cross here. So to start our paper weaving, we are gonna take our scissors and we're gonna cut our paper in half. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle, but as close as you can get. And make sure that this is the folded side. So we're going to cut it in half, but my scissors have to stop. They have to go all the way to that line that I drew and stop right at that line. So now my paper is cut in half, and I am going to cut each of those in half one more time. So I'm gonna create 4 sections. So now I'm cutting this one in half, going, 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 and stop. Same thing on the other side. Going, 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 and snap. So now I have 4 sections, but I'm gonna cut each section in half again. So I'm gonna end up doubling it. So each of these 4 will cut in half one more time. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we're trying to make even strips. I have to go all the way to the line. I can't cut and stop here, because then my weaving's not gonna be even. So I have to go all the way to that top line. Okay, so now I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 warp strands and my loom. I have that line at the top that's keeping the whole thing together. So now whenever I open it up, I have my loom and my warp ready to start weaving. But like I said, today we're just focused on making our loom and our warp strands. So go ahead and keep this in a safe place to use for next class. There is nothing to turn into Schoology on this rotation. Just make sure that you create your loom, have the paper folded in half horizontally, take the top and fold it over, make sure it's the open side to create your no cross zone. Then make your 8 strips, making sure that each one goes all the way and touches the no cross zone. All right? I can't wait to start weaving with you next time. Happy creating!